We are live.
Welcome to the Cult of Contempt.
Live.
Where we are drinking Corona
with
beer.
Antoine and Guy from Precious Bones.
Thank you for joining us.
This show brought to you by Corona.
We're all getting the coronavirus as we speak.
Yes. We're Americans. We don't know the facts. We saw this has the word Corona on it. So we are drinking this to infect ourselves with the virus so that we do not get the virus. We will beat the virus
What is that, like
with our immune systems.
What are you, like Val Kilmer doing some sort of southern accent?
I could do a southern accent this whole show, sugar.
Well, look at you, sir.
But looky here now.
Well, look at there. So I have been working from home because of the coronavirus. They said stay home on Wednesday, and now they say we're working from home for the foreseeable future, which is good for the people at NJ Transit because, you know, it was like crowded in the trains. It's crowded in there. I want to get a seat. So if you want to get a seat on NJ Transit now, what you do is you just cough on people. Don't cover your mouth at all. Just cough on people, sneeze, just swallow a little water and choke on it a little bit. You will get a seat, if not a car, to yourself. That's a good tip.
And you gotta flick a little of that water on them too. Just.
I was in line at Walgreens the other day, and I just coughed, and everybody was in front of me, like all moved away. So I just like kept coughing and moved right up to the front.
We're getting down with the sickness.
Yes.
That's
Victim one.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that I mean, it only takes out. Well, now they think it. Well, originally they said it takes out maybe 4% of the population, and it's really just young children and old people, people with compromised immune systems. But if you actually look at the total number of the cases, which we don't know, it could be much less. It could be less than 1%. Meanwhile, the flu takes out more than that. You know, but everybody's losing their fucking shit about the coronavirus. They're just losing their minds.
Well, yeah, but every election year there's a virus.
You think so? Is that it?
Zika.
Just the MERS, the SARS,
SARS. Yeah.
the MERS.
Every election year there's always a virus.
The pig virus, the avian flu,
yeah.
swine flu.
It's always an election year. It's all bullshit. You're all fine.
Yeah, it's
just
all
go
fake
to work.
news. Fake news.
Just lick the banisters and the railings and the doorknobs. Everybody's gonna be fine.
We were kind of hoping that it would take out millions and millions of people so I can finally get a parking space somewhere. Can that happen?
Like an
Can
outbreak. You want like an epidemic? I kind of was hoping it would be like a 28 days later situation.
Oh, that would be the best.
Where people would just start like fucking around each other in blood and chasing each other around.
They're already chasing each other around.
Okay.
It's become Mad Max with toilet paper, unfortunately. Like, toilet paper is in high demand.
Yeah.
Why are people flipping out so much? Calm the fuck down,
The
okay?
morning shows, bro. It's these moms that stay home and they watch the morning show in the morning and the news tells them, like, you need to get 2 weeks worth of food. Fucking everybody pretty much that I think I know in my life has 2 weeks worth of food. Like, I could live off the food here for 2 weeks.
Sure.
Would it be great? No, like I'd be eating ramen, but I'd be fine for 2 weeks. Like, I'd be alright. I'll live. People that have kids, like, their whole fucking house is stocked with shit. Like, you know, make your kids eat the fucking granola bar that they never eat that's been on the top of the cabinet for like a year, you know? Like, there's everybody had that shit in their house that was just like, oh, Tang, we never make that. It's just been here since 1990.
It's for guests.
You use that shit. You know, you start breaking out the vintage.
Right. Goes good with vodka.
The vintage, yeah. Some Tang.
Some Tang.
It's good for the astronauts, right?
Yeah.
That's what they always used to say.
I don't know, man. You brought up a good point before the show. We are very overpopulated, so bring it.
Unfortunately, we don't have anything that kills off all the dumb people.
I know.
But there wouldn't be that many people left if we killed all the dumb people. I mean, we'd have like, what, 50 people left on the planet?
Yeah.
Start over.
That's one thing I realize, like, day to day, like, how many people... I really do question, like, how has this person managed to navigate through life for 37 years or whatever age? Like, holy fuck.
Yeah. There's plenty of those walking around.
How?
But you know what's funny is that we're actually not producing enough people to take care of the old people we're going to have in societies. And a lot of societies are going to start breaking down because they're going to have all these old people and nobody to work to make the fucking money to support them and shit like that. Maybe the robots will help out with that. I don't know. But
they'll kill us all.
Well, is that why the millennials are so pissed?
they're screwed.
Yeah.
They're totally screwed. And I think that their parents, who were probably one of the most spoiled generations, the baby boomers, are totally screwed too. And they don't even know it either.
Oh, we bought our house for $64,000. It's like...
My girlfriend works at like a hospital and stuff like that, and you just see like just 100-year-old people just fucking breaking down, nobody showing up, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I don't know, man, I want a dignified death. Like, if I'm going or something like that, just throw me in a fucking cage with a bear.
No, you know what?
Just let me wrestle a fucking bear until I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I want a dignified death.
We're
like
gonna
a
most
man,
dangerous game you.
You're gonna hunt me down?
Yeah, we're just gonna drop you in the woods. It's gonna be like Predator.
I'm like running with a walker, all of a sudden a fucking mortar takes me out.
Let's give him a head start.
That'd be great.
Grandpa, you alright? Wait, his head fell off. Jesus Christ. I guess it's gonna be a closed casket.
People will be paying on the internet to kill you.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Like surviving
10
the game.
grand, 10 grand. Can we have more?
Choose your charity.
14 grand.
ComeKillPhil.com.
Come kill Phil. I would spell come with a U.
Whoa, wait a minute. This is turning into something different now.
No, you don't kill them that way. Drown them.
That brings up a good point. Did you hear about the Corey Feldman?
The Corey.
Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, he's releasing his documentary on Netflix,
Yeah.
right?
He did release. You want to say it or?
I'll let you.
He released his documentary to a theater, and you could pay $20 to sit at home and watch it on your computer as well. But hackers kept attacking the stream. Apparently,
Okay.
Like the hosting company was telling him, like he called on the cell phone on stage, like, and they were like saying, "No, oh yeah, it's hackers." Da da da.
Jesus.
But apparently he named Charlie Sheen.
Right. That's right, yeah.
Instead of Lucas.
Yes.
And I've heard that before already.
Really?
Yeah. I think I said it on the podcast like at least a year ago.
Oh, wow.
I read that somewhere already. That was like already out before that. Reddit maybe, like I don't know. I always read all this, like the blind gossip. There's one blind gossip website that's supposedly run, or Robert Downey Jr. is supposedly the guy that's behind it. They think because it's like he's kind of a guy that's like cleaned up his act and kind of does good shit in his off time, and they think like he's clean. He's not fucking. There's no scandal involving him anymore. He's kind of just like letting shit out now. That
Some fucking janitor, Universal, or goddamn cabbie.
I don't know, man. Everybody says it's RDJ, but I always read that website.
Wow.
Hollywood Blind Items. It's fucking great.
And why is it that hackers attacked this film? Why were
Because
they?
it was going to name the sexual abusers of the Coreys.
Right. So what the fuck do they care?
Well, the one's dead, and the other one's trying to like redeem them.
No, the hackers.
yeah.
You mean,
Oh. We were hired by Sheen.
yeah, by whoever.
Interesting.
That's what they think. It was like denial of service attacks. Hired
Wow.
by somebody.
I mean, think about it. Charlie Sheen's not really a nice guy. I mean,
It might not have
he
even.
had AIDS and was going screwing all the
Think about it too.
there.
Think about it too. It might not have even been Charlie Sheen. Think about the other people too that
Amelia?
could have potentially been named in that. Like
Yeah.
they don't know who the fuck they were gonna name. Like
Next
like
Weinstein.
Well, I'm thinking Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Everyone involved with him so far has died. Right?
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
that's very questionable. It's
And that's
like,
a gay one, which
3
is
for 3.
interesting. 'Cause most of them
Yeah.
have been straight guys forcing themselves
Sure.
on women.
And then he
was a-
keeps doing those videos too, where he plays that character from that Netflix show that he's not on anymore. And he just like says evil shit to the camera, like it's like horrible. Like the guy really died in real life, and Kevin Spacey's like, "Some people drop dead," just fucking being a dick. Like, dude, like you're not helping.
Yeah.
House of Cards. That's
Yeah, House of Cards.
And I saw too with that whole movie that came out that they mistakenly, who was the guy who played Danny Tanner on
Bob Saget.
Yeah, Bob Saget was accidentally named, and then they came out and said it was another Bob or something like that. But for a while, Bob Saget, and then there was like all these people on Twitter going, you know, oh my God, Bob Saget, oh thank God it's not him, and stuff like that. And if you ever see his stand-up is dirty as fuck.
Gilbert Gottfried always jokes like, oh yeah, Bob Saget raped and murdered a girl in 1990. And like it became like a thing, like people were like Googling it and shit.
I actually met Bob Saget backstage in New York. He was doing some musical, some play, and he actually had the flu, and he gave us a tour, a backstage tour, because my mom knew a guy.
But did you get the flu?
I didn't get the flu, but he is a tall motherfucker, and he is super nice. He was just like the nicest guy. I could never picture him hurting a kitten. But his stand-up is raunchy though, but it's hysterical. He's really funny.
Yeah, he's funny as fuck.
And you never would have pictured him, like if you see his stand-up, you never picture him doing, you know, the stupid fucking sitcom thing.
Then he switches.
Yeah, that's right.
It could have been like a Jekyll Hyde thing, you know, just he's like the sweetest, nicest guy in the office, and he hears the keyword. And
slowly I turn step by step.
I love that him and Stamos will fuck with people. Like there was like some story he told where him and Stamos they were at some party together, and they both ended up in the bathroom. And there was some kid that was like like 20s fucking taking a piss. So they both stood on each side of him. And Danny goes, hey Jesse, how's the band going? Like Bob Saget asked him like in character. He's like, oh, it's good. How's everything going on the show? Like, and this kid's like fucking just like losing his shit, like taking a piss because he's like, you know, it's like Full House real? Like, what don't I know? Like, I just think that's great when somebody can fuck with people like that.
Yeah.
It's the most amazing thing. But anyway, you guys are in a band.
Right, I was going to transition to that
where
too.
we fuck with people all the time.
Well, that's your job.
Yeah.
How'd you guys come up with the name Precious Bones? Because I think that's really great. Like, if you think about it, I kind of feel like the name of the band is really important because it's kind of like the marketing of the band. Mm-hmm. You know, the bad hormones, you kind of know that's a joke right off the bat. Hormones, it's kind of juvenile. It's dark, you know.
Yeah, you know you're gonna deal with a prick.
Right. You're gonna say this guy. This is the guy.
You already don't like it from the name, and then you see the band, and you like the music, but don't like the guy. I know the story.
I would see that as like a 14-year-old boy and be like, I need to listen to this band when my mom is not around.
Right.
You know, that's kind of. But Precious Bones, I kind of feel like there's kind of a dark, haunting thing there. Your Precious Bone, yeah.
No, the band Precious Bones.
Oh,
like,
good.
It's
yeah.
not offensive. I would.
No, but it's kind of
people have asked
haunting.
us if it was sexual.
What?
But, you know, there's some people that have asked me, is it sexual? I was like, nah. It's not a precious bone.
I never thought of it as a penis thing. I think
could be.
this guy did.
If you just make
just
it
made
bone,
the joke. I didn't.
Precious bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Precious Bones sounds more kind of like a horror, kind of maybe kind of dark, mysterious kind of thing.
Well, the biggest percentage of our audience is moms, so we are trying to really aim all marketing and songwriting towards them. Mine's been to every show.
What kind of moms are we talking? Are we talking like 30, 40-year-olds?
All kinds.
Milfs, gilfs.
Yes.
Grandmas.
Yeah.
Tattoos? High hair and tramp stamps? What
Yeah. Wigs.
The name Precious Bones actually has a good meaning. We were looking for a name that would encompass what we were trying to do. Like when we were starting out, we all came from different musical backgrounds.
Right.
Antoine and I have a lot of similar musical tastes, but like the rest of the band has all had different styles and influences. And we wanted to incorporate all that into one thing. So we wanted to pay respect for what had come before, but also create something new out of it. So
talking about classic rock, right?
Yeah, like
Garage rock.
Garage rock.
I mean, seriously, when we say almost every kind of music, we do. I mean, we listen to everything from like old school country to punk to jazz to blues to bluegrass to hard rock, funk. and goth and industrial and 80s new wave. And so the thing is, when all of that is behind us, it's the foundation of where we're starting with.
Right.
We're incorporating a little bit of everything into what we're creating. So it's like we wanted to come up with a name that really reflected the past, but also was something precious and new. So
And yeah, Precious Soup didn't sound good.
yeah,
How long have you guys been together?
8 years.
Oh, darling.
He just gave me the rank. No. Yeah, 8
It's a
years.
long engagement.
8 years.
It's been too long. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 years we've been together. We've had a few lineup changes. One of our members died
Jesus,
this year.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had left the band, but for health reasons, and he passed away. He had a stroke. So
What a shame.
yeah, I mean, it's bittersweet. We're doing the new album. We're almost done.
So he would have loved the coronavirus.
Yeah, he would have loved it. But Mikey, it's to you, Mikey. Coronavirus.
Just see you, Mike.
But yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of lineup changes over the years, and hopefully this is the final lineup for the band. We really like where we are. The sound is where we want to be.
It's great.
It's always changing, but right now I really think we're solid. But now we're trying to. The songs that are on our album, for most part, are years old.
Yeah.
Some of them are 5 or 6, 7 years old. So it's like, like we're working on some new material that's not going to appear on the album. That'll be the next album if we ever have another one. We want to incorporate as much of our influences in there,
Yeah.
but still sound new. Listen, everybody can do punk rock, but I mean, I want to sound like punk rock, but something else. I don't want to just be punk rock, like the Clash. I would say, dare I say, one of the greatest punk rock bands ever.
I agree.
We're just punk. They had so many other influences. I mean, they did ska.
Oh, yeah.
And blues and jazz, but and rock. And so the thing is, like, to me, I think to be a good musician, even, and I don't consider myself a good musician, but I think to aspire to be a good musician, you have to go out of your comfort zone. Right. You have to learn other things. You have to explore and experience other types of music, and learn from them, which you can.
I would say, as an artist in general, you should always try to get outside of your comfort zone. And as a writer, I've always tried to push myself into new directions. You really never know what you can do or accomplish until you really sit down and try it. And a lot of people, I think their anxiety kind of holds them back as an artist, or the feeling of being kind of like worried about how you're going to be perceived and stuff like that. You got to free yourself from all that shit if you're really going to make any sort of ground breakthroughs. Who does the songwriting?
All of us.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you just collaborate, or do you guys just jam and something bubbles up, or is it somebody comes in with an idea, or?
Well, there's three
Some
of
of
us
us
that are
don't like to
songwriters.
jam. It's frustrating.
I mean, Antoine is a songwriter. He writes music and lyrics.
Cool.
I write music and lyrics, and my brother Ray, who plays the lead guitar, he writes music.
Oh, okay.
He's not a lyric guy, but he writes music. So the three of us are pretty much where it all comes from.
Okay.
Right. And it's sort of, you bring the skeleton to, rehearsal or the practice, and pretty much just feed it through the bones machine, and it eventually, if it works, it works. There's probably 90% that it's thrown away because it sucks.
Wow.
Yeah, what's funny is we used to record all the rehearsals in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I found some of those tapes. I was listening to them the other day, and I'm like, wow, I don't even remember these songs. Like, we had thrown together songs, like dozens and dozens of songs that this didn't make it to the next level.
Yeah.
You introduce it and say, had this idea, and you just see if it gels. Does it work? Does it go anywhere? I mean, you never, like, I've learned early on with this band, never get attached to anything because it may never appear again.
That's how I feel about art in general, man.
And it's all right. I mean, I don't, I'm one person in five. If I ever wanted to do stuff, if I was ever glued to the stuff I'm working on, and I have to do this, and it doesn't work out with Precious Bones, I would do a solo project or something. But the thing is, it's like I think that the Precious Bones machine that we've created is a good trial by fire, because it really holds this stuff up to a different standard now. Oh. We don't just and I'm not trying to hold the high horse or anything. I just think that as musicians, we like to aspire to be a little better than we can be the last time out. Let's come up with something a little better than we just wrote, and then, it's a growing process. I mean,
well, sorry to interrupt, but
no, go ahead.
We've been in the scene, we've seen so many bands and friends, and, most people are after, the show or practice, like, oh, you're so amazing, that was so great, this and that, where we've actively always said, like, okay, well, you could do this better, what can I do better? And, even though we don't listen to the same kind of music or have the same approach, what do you think would be good to twist this bridge or something, instead of just hanging on to it all yourself and
like every performance you kind of I guess you just go over it and you kind of deconstruct it and you try to use it as a way to improve yourself every time, right?
Yeah, it's the constant evolution.
I mean, it's very strange. Like, we're by no means bluegrass, say.
Right.
But I go through my kicks where I listen to a lot of, say, bluegrass.
Yeah.
And I'll listen to something and I'm like, that might work in something we're doing. And it could be a punk song.
Right.
But I'm like, let me try this bluegrass riff in a punk song. Something that maybe has happened before, but not prevalent. It's not something that you normally see. And sometimes it works. And it's exactly what the song needed at that one point to push it to the next level. And it's like, and I like that. I think bands like The Clash did that. They listened to other styles and said, what should we bring in here? And they did. Like The Police. Oh, yeah. They were influenced by so many different types of music.
Yeah, you could listen to 5 different Police songs and it sounds like 5 different bands with the same singer. But Truth Is Everybody, and then Roxanne.
Canary in a Coal Mine. It's a brilliant song.
Yeah.
And it's got that ska upbeat, and it's like,
Dude, that drummer, I give the Police a lot of credit, but Stuart Copeland, man, I don't think, if without him, I really don't think they would have been what they were.
They're all amazing.
Oh, yeah, they are.
But it's the experimentation.
The shit that guy does, no other drummer can do that shit.
Yeah.
That's like Ringo Starr, there's certain drummers, Ringo Starr to me is kind of like a meat and potatoes drummer. He's definitely very basic, but he does shit that's just boom, tap, boom, tap, boom, tap. That doesn't make nobody does that.
Right.
It's not it's art, man. He's making drumming his own. And that's what I like about Stuart Copeland.
Because, that's the difference between an artist and a musician.
Yeah.
An artist will try to push it, that extra step. They want it to be better than okay. We're a musician, a lot of musicians say, it's good, move on. But the artist is never finished with it. They want it to okay, maybe I can put this in there. And
great art is abandoned. It's not, it's never finished. It's just abandoned. That's what Da Vinci said. I think about that every day.
A lot of the songs that we wrote, we've altered it over the years. The songs are a little different. It could even be a little guitar riffs or the way I play something on bass, or Antoine will put in different types of elements in the vocals that will just push it another step ahead, you know? And it's I think we always will revisit the old songs to try and make them a little better, because maybe they were written, say 7 years ago. We've come such a long way as musicians in 7 years. And then we're in 7 years from now, if we're still together, we're going to be doing other stuff.
I feel like the best bands are like my favorite band is Clutch, and like every album is completely different. You can see the evolution of the band and how they went through different phases and how they're always developing their sound. They're always, and I think that's kind of the calling of like a great artist is you're never really satisfied, and that's also one of the beauties of great art because it has no bottom, right? It's something you can always work on, you can always appreciate, and you can appreciate in other bands too. You go see other bands or I read other writers, I'm like, oh, this person's doing it completely different. Holy shit, you know, like sometimes you run into something that just blows your fucking mind and it like changes like the whole game for you and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that inspires you, and in turn, it's like that's what I always loved about David Bowie. It was like David Bowie, fucking, I don't know, like I always thought Aladdin Sane had like new wave of British heavy metal shit in it, like weird guitars and guitar harmonies and shit, like. But it's distinctly David Bowie. But it's like that fucking kind of shit that I'm sure he heard, you know, whatever. Like, I don't know what bands were fuck out at that point, but he heard that and was like, oh, I could do this, and fucking did like his own weird take on it.
Yeah.
And that was like his whole career was like industrial music. Oh, I could do something that's kind of like that, like this, that. Like he always just fucking did. It wasn't even what was popular. I think it was like what struck him at the time.
Oh yeah, and even with art or films and stuff like that he would bring in, you know, it's always just like he wasn't like replicating it, like I said. He didn't do like a straight up industrial record. He used that to, you know.
He used that as like his canvas, like almost like that idea of like like mechanized drums and this and that and some synths and you know.
I think those guys also had kind of like an idea of like where things were headed. It's kind of like Wayne Gretzky said, like, you know, you don't go where the puck is, you go where the puck is going.
Yeah.
They kind of knew like, okay, electronic music is kind of coming up. Let me do something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, that was Led Zeppelin.
Oh yeah.
They knew the direction music was going in because the last album was all electronic.
The Beatles too.
If they had stayed together, they would have turned into like a new wave band almost. I mean, because you listen to the stuff they were working on was very heavily keyboard influenced and synthesizers and drums machines and stuff. It was definitely more experimental than the other stuff. They started out as a very typical blues rock band in the beginning. And then every album it started progressing more and more. And then, you know, I mean, it's just an evolution. I mean, real creative bands change. They don't just play the same old, same old.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, we've been told so many times, like, if we want to get signed, we gotta, all our songs have to sound the same, and you have to have this signature sound. And we're like, God, that sounds boring. That sounds like a death sentence, you know? If we had to write all our songs the same, why bother? You write one and that's it. You did it. You know, I mean, why bother? I mean, you know, you hear these bands, like, I mean, I don't really want to badmouth bands, but you have bands like Green Day where all their stuff sounds
all my songs sound the same. I'll take that. It's okay.
I've heard that about you.
No, they do. They all sound the same. But I very much prefer one tempo. Like, I don't know, I'm like a tempo guy. Like, I like this speed. I write songs that are between 2 minutes and 20 seconds, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. They got an intro, a verse, a chorus, a verse, a chorus, a bridge, a chorus, and then they end.
And you know, if that works for you, great.
To me, well, I like to do other shit. Like, I write garage rock songs. Like, I write so much other stuff. The stuff that I put out is all in that kind of fucking mold.
Right.
But I don't know. The way I look at it, like, it's definitely, you definitely don't want to just fall into a trap where you're supposed to sound this way. Like, your sound is this box. You know? That's
nightmare. That's the end of creativity when you're limited. Totally. You know, like, I hear that all the time. We've heard so many times, you know, you guys, if you really want to get out there and you want to get signed, you want to get famous, you need to tighten up your sound and make it sound similar, all the songs. And we're like, that's not what we're about. I'd rather not get signed. I know that sounds stupid, but I would rather not get signed than do what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's the sign of being a true artist. I don't think it sounds stupid at all.
I mean, there's so much left to do. I mean, we're at rehearsals, and we'll talk about stuff we're working on, like, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm working on a country song. And they're like, why a country song? I'm like, just a little. little bit country.
Yeah.
Not full on Willie Nelson, but but like it may even have like a country swing to it or something, but it's got a country element in it.
Yeah.
And I like to just the songs I write. I mean, like a song that you worked with us, you mastered.
Hearts Are Heavy.
Yeah, that song was very goth. That was a very goth period where I was writing. Well, I talked about it like it was like Bauhaus and Joy Division mixed with Black Sabbath, and it came out like that, and that was like a specific like I really want to explore this with this song.
Yeah.
And that's how it came out. And then we have other songs like one song that we do called All She Wants. It has a very Todd Rundgren, George Thorogood sound to it. It's very pure rock. I really wanted to have a very authentic rock feel to it. Like a real rock soul, not just a 1-3-5 rock song that's generic. I wanted to really, capture old, rock and roll, and I think it did.
There's a bit of that Detroit feel. Like
yeah, it's like it's like.
I like that stuff.
There's different songs. Like we did Good Times. Good Times is a strange song because it's got a very hippie folk sound to it, but it's a rock song. But like I'm playing like I would say almost like a folk riff on the bass that carries the song, but it's a rock song.
Yeah.
But it still has that kind of like hippie flavor to it. It's like. And that's a song about dying, so that's like, that's a good.
Your favorite.
It's, Good Times, it's a song about dying. So, but the thing is, that's an uplifting song about dying. It's the whole idea is that you want to go out and have a good time before you die.
Yeah.
The guy in the song has just been told he's dying, he's going to die very soon, it's like cancer or whatever, and he decides he's not going to just give in, he's going to live his life to the fullest and goes out with a bang. But the thing is, I wanted to have kind of like a folky sound, like, not full on like Harry Chapin, but just the flavor of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's what happens is you kind of like take bits and pieces and shreds of little things that you like, and they kind of go through your own head, aka computer, and then whatever you output is something kind of new. But, if you broke it down on an atomic level, you could see those bits and pieces. And we were talking about before, like the Clash and stuff like that, using ska. There was actually a lot of people from the Caribbean that came over to England in the 70s and stuff like that and influenced the punk rock movement. So, yeah, they were creative, but that kind of music was around, too, And a lot of people say that, like the Beatles and the Stones and even Led Zeppelin kind of stole a lot of the blues kind of sound from the Mississippi Delta and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was like the British take on American fucking
the British invasion
roll, and like that to me is the greatest thing. Like,
right.
It's like British people are like a clean, refined people, but their rock and roll is so much dirtier.
I don't think all of them are.
Yeah, so I
think there's a lot of dirty motherfuckers over there. Fucking Lemmy came from there, man.
Hey, Lemmy.
Fuck yes.
Lemmy.
Yeah, hell yeah. Fucking Lemmy, man.
Now, Lemmy would never have to fear the coronavirus.
No.
I mean, if he was still alive, he'd be like, lay that shit on me. I'm not afraid.
Cough in my face. I can fucking take it.
He'd say whiskey kills it or something, and you fucking drink a bottle right there or something.
In one sitting, just.
Oh, I can't believe that. It's like the only one. Like that's like Lemmy, Bowie, fucking Lou Reed. Like those are like three of my favorites. They're dead. Iggy Pop is still standing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
He's gonna outlive all of us.
Yeah, he's.
Do you think he'll outlive Keith?
Oh.
You know, I think about Keith Richards dying a lot. It's gonna happen sooner rather than later.
Not in our lifetime.
Maybe not in our lifetime. My grandkids will see it.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Who's this mummy?"
He's still moving.
That was a man. He played guitar. Now they just put him on stage with a guitar. He doesn't move anymore, but he still breathes.
It's like, how much more can you down tune him to?
Oh yeah, they just put him in this fucking weird tuning where he can just play whatever he wants, and it just sounds right.
Oh yeah, that's the Stones.
Yeah, it's open S.
That's great.
I love that all those like old bands are still like fucking selling out Madison Square Garden. Like Billy Joel sells out that shit every month. It's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I never thought people would give a shit about seeing or hearing Billy Joel songs in this day and age.
Right.
I'm like, he's fine. Like had some good songs. The one song I really like with the you know, it's great. But like I would think an old Billy Joel would just be like, fuck this shit. Like, I wrote all these songs a million years ago. Like, why would I even bother? Why would anybody even care anymore? But they still do, and God bless them. Like, and he has, like, Brian Johnson from AC/DC come out, and they'll fucking do, like, Back in Black. Like, yeah, it's like weird shit.
That's funny.
It's like if you're Billy Joel's friend, he'll just be like, oh, yeah, you have a song that you did, right? Yeah, come up and do it with me.
But the thing is, it's like there's no one else out there.
That's true.
Who has come out lately that's even close to that caliber?
Well, Billie Eilish.
I feel like it's kind of like
Yeah, Billie Eilish.
you have like a bands that kind of coins a time, like Nirvana, right? It's like it's kind of like the 80s bands came along and then they kind of got like old bubblegum. And then all of a sudden you have something new and then everybody emulates that and that's the wave and then that wave breaks. We might just kind of be in the middle between waves right now, but
yeah, we're in the middle of the wave of like I don't know, garage revive. Like there's like the Black Keys and like those kind of bands.
Well, they're talented. They're incredibly
They are.
talented.
That are kind of doing that shit. I'm not knocking them. And then like I feel like minimalist fucking weird. Like I listen to Kanye West's music. Sometimes like it's like, oh, Kanye West put out a new album. Like I'll listen to this. Like I don't want to just be a dick and say that it's fucking stupid without hearing it. And then I hear it, and boy, is it fucking stupid. Like unconscionable. Like as a guy that engineers stuff, like I wouldn't let that out of my fucking apartment. I let a lot of bad shit out of my apartment. Some of that I'm like, I don't know about this. Like there's nothing happening here.
Corporate music has set the bar very low.
Oh, it's fucking.
Like there's, I mean, if
it's music by numbers.
they, the thing is, it's so low and so badly looked over that like a band like the Beatles could come along and be overlooked because they don't fit into their corporate niche.
Yeah.
Of and it's a shame.
I feel like if you have the talent and stuff like that, I don't know that you have to go through the regular channels. Like I mentioned Clutch before, like that's a band that's been around since the 90s. They have a huge following, they fucking sell out, they sell albums, they do music full time, like, and they never got hardly any commercial play. Like they're just fucking out there doing it. Like the Grateful Dead. You know what I mean? There's those bands that just fucking, they have their thing and they recognize, people recognize that.
You can tour all the time. You're gonna build an audience inevitably. If you're good and out there touring. If you're bad and out there touring, nobody's gonna give a fuck, and you're gonna be broke in like 3 months.
Right.
Like you're wasting your time. But if you're well rehearsed and I genuinely feel like you know what you're supposed to be doing. Like, everybody fucking my tell is this. If you're recording a song and somebody has to take like an hour to record their part that they play every week in a 2-minute song, like you gotta fucking be like, dude, like if we tour on this, like you gotta know your shit. You gotta be able to fucking pull it out at like the drop of a hat, I feel like. And like the touring bands that can do that and they do great. And like they'll do like that's the bands I see do one pay to play show. And then that's it.
Right.
They're not doing it anymore because it's like, okay, they just wanted to play Starland with whoever and fucking they could sell tickets easy because they're like a phenomenon because they they go around and do their thing. Like, I don't know, the guys that I see there every single time there's a show at Starland, it's like, I mean, I'll get cheap tickets, but, like, and it's like, I want to go out and have a good time. I would rather go out and have bands like I know that I don't know, but that just are like, oh yeah, Typo Negative is playing. Like, they had the banner open. It's like, I know who the banner is, but that's a fucking good show. Like, the only time I ever saw the banner was the fucking Meat Locker, like a hole in the wall or whatever, you know? Like, so seeing them at Starland is cool. And everybody fucking cared because they're awesome. And it was like a fucking great show. Like, Typo Negative fans are notorious for not giving a fuck. And they were all in. So it was like a good show, you know? Like, I love seeing shit like that. I hate being bored at a rock show.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just a matter of performing now. You gotta put on a show. I mean, people are paying 30, 40, 50 bucks for a show. You don't want to just hear the record.
Yeah.
And that's so boring. You know, like, we're trying to up our game now. I mean, after all these years, we realize that people don't want to see us on stage. They want to hear music and be entertained. So
we bought a skeleton.
yeah, we got a skeleton and projectors and banners and all sorts of other weird things. We started wearing masks and stuff on stage, and I think it just gives the audience a little bit more.
They feel like they're seeing a fucking thing. Nobody wants to see somebody that looks like their coworker on stage, you know? Unless, like, I get away with wearing pajamas for an entirely different, it's like my swagger. Nobody, don't do that. Don't wear pajamas on stage. That's for me, not for you. I want to see a show, not a guy in pajamas.
But it's like, you know, like, we go out to shows. You see so many bands that don't go any way out of their way to put on a good show. They are literally wearing the clothes they always wear. They get up, they play the songs like they're in the studio recording or rehearsing.
No,
and then
sometimes they don't even fucking play them like that. I've seen these bands I mixed sound for so long that I became a jaded, hateful fucking... I became like the emperor who starts, I must destroy this. Fucking... Dude, I saw bands where it's like, okay, I try to always take a pragmatic approach. Like, maybe they're having a bad night the first night, you know? See them, they go and they play their songs. It's like, they brought nobody, fucking, they were horrible. Like, you're playing Green Day and Blink-182 and you're fucking this up.
What?
Like, the easiest fucking if you fuck that up, go home. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, maybe they just had a shit night. They fucking took their gear off the stage and just went home and just fucked their girlfriend, who just took pictures of them real close the whole fucking night.
That's why they're in the band.
And then so then the next time it's like, oh, I get to book sound for them again. Yay. Oh, great. Can't wait. So I'm like, maybe they'll be better this time. It was fucking worse.
Oh.
They got like new members because like the bass player they had was like, yeah, I'm not doing this again. Fucking booked. So then they just got like some other asshole to play bass. He didn't know the fucking songs. Along with the guitar player didn't know the fucking songs. It was just like awful. And then watching them play, and then like they were a cover band, and then watching another. I hate cover bands too. Then watching another cover band come on. They were fucking awesome. They were. It was a British singer. They played the Damned. They played the Sex Pistols. They played all shit that I was like, this is fucking. I hate cover bands. This is fucking great. Yeah. No cover band plays a love song by the Damned. This is awesome.
Right?
And it's like I'm watching these guys load their shit out while these other guys on stage are playing like fucking great shit. It's like, man, it would just kill these guys to stick around and learn something from like actual fucking musicians that are playing somebody else's shit, doing the same thing they're doing really fucking well.
Right.
Like, I don't know if maybe they just think, oh, I'm great. I just played. I'm gonna go home now.
Yeah. Dunning-Kruger effect.
Fuck my 3, girlfriend. Like, she's like a 3. Fucking assholes. I loved mixing sounds until I fucking hated it and became like this character of like I would just scream at the bands constantly like a psychopath, and I basically thought, I'm like, Bob's definitely gonna fire me. I'm like, I'm only making $50. Like, I don't really care. Bob thought it was the funniest fucking thing in the entire world. So he would just look at like.
We got this reputation after a while of just like this cranky guy who fucking worked in the
a cranky guy that has high expectations. Yeah, fuck me.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, like the bar was low. I love Clash Bar,
right?
but I saw so many shitty bands there. Because you're right, like none of them want to be good. They're not even trying.
It's just like the rock star mentality.
I mean, when I get on the stage, I want to sound the best I possibly can. I practice a lot to try and sound at least decent. You know, and it's just because I want to put out a good product. I don't want to put out a mediocre product. Why? Why bother?
Yeah.
Why bother getting on the stage if you're going to put out a mediocre product? It's not worth it. It's not good business because no one's going to come back to see a mediocre band. Certainly not paying you money to see a mediocre band and not buy your album. You know, it's ridiculous. Why would people do that? But I see it all the time. I see bands get up on stage and they have no right being on the stage. They need 3 or 4 months of solid rehearsal.
3 or 4 fucking years sometimes, man. Like, I was on stage long before I should have been on a stage. I think everybody was. I think that's like the trial by fire, but either you fucking... You find that spot real quick. Like, I realized, like, the first time I was on stage, like, oh, I should not be on the stage right now. And then I booked a radio show, and I should not have been on that either.
We should play that sometime on the show. That would be hysterical.
That's awesome.
Flashback.
What were you in, the Pumpkins or something like that?
Pumpkin Patch, yeah.
The Pumpkin Patch. That's a sexy name.
Yeah, it was hard to find us, because you just find real pumpkin patches when you Google us. It was great if you wanted pumpkins.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, how did you guys like, start music and stuff like that? Was it like something you all always did, or
Like together or just
in general, like,
okay.
like Antoine, what drove you to music?
Well, we can go back to what Paul was saying earlier. It was David Bowie that really, as a 6-year-old, my grandfather took me to see Labyrinth because that's what grandfather does on the days watching the kid. Like, I'll take him to a movie. This looks like a kid's thing. And yeah, forever, like, it changed. I was like, okay, I want like that hair. I want to be jumping around with goblins.
I want a crystal ball. And
exactly. No, I want someone to stand behind me. And yeah, I just thought that was like the pinnacle of like what one aspires to be as a kid. So I've been, just chasing that down. Can never find the right tights.
How about you, man?
Well, I have a band, a family history of music.
Oh yeah.
My brother Ray is the lead guitarist for our band, and the two of us were inspired by my dad. He was the guitarist for the girl group, the Shangri-Las.
Holy shit, that's cool.
He used to play in their backup band, and so like growing up, the two of us were surrounded by music all the time. And he would be playing, and and the thing is, he taught us, about music, and I originally started out as a keyboard player, then a guitar player, and then a bass player, and my brother started as a bass player and then became a guitar player, and you kind of finally sink into where you really belong after you experiment a lot, but we've been playing music since I was maybe younger than 12. So it's always been a part of my life.
That's awesome.
Blood. And, my dad, because he was involved with music, he was incredibly involved with all kinds of music. Like, listen to everything from, the 40s and up. And so I would get a musical history lesson every time he played, because he'd be playing stuff from his fake book that he made up of all the songs. He must have had 1,000 songs in there. And, he'd be playing everything from Coltrane to, the Beatles and Creedence and,
That's fucking awesome.
Right?
So I learned a lot of that. And I learned to appreciate a lot of types of music. And it just, when you start listening to all of it, it just really inspires you. I can do that, and then then you suck for a long time, and then to the point where you get to the point where you can play and people don't boo you. which is good. You know?
Yeah.
Still aspiring.
And then you get to the point where they actually throw money at you, which is nice.
Right.
You know, I mean, in all the years I played music, I think the most exciting thing on stage is seeing people dance to your music.
Yeah.
No matter what you're playing. You know, if you're playing a punk song or playing a rock song, or if people are dancing to your music, it does something to you. Because they're inspired enough by something you created that they're getting up and moving around. And it's not easy to do. You know, Paul. How many shows you play, it's like you're lucky if one or two of those shows someone dances to it.
Paul specifically?
No, I mean, he knows.
Yeah, no, I know.
I mean, it's such a rarity that when it happens,
Yeah.
you know, you're like, holy shit, you know, it's like, I've reached another level for a moment. And it's like, you know, I'm always hoping for that, you know, I mean, that's, you know, I mean, we've done a lot of stuff on stage. My bucket list has gotten very small because I get to open for some of my favorite musicians. We get to open for David Johansen from the New York Dolls.
Nice.
I mean,
That's awesome.
that was
David Johansen.
dude. I mean, New York Dolls, Buster Poindexter. You know,
Yeah, that's the shit.
it
That's
was
awesome.
like that was exciting for me, very exciting because it's like, you know, I had seen him the year before play with Iggy Pop and the Stooges.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Randall's Island? Or
Yeah. And I was like, Jesus, I can't believe I got a double bill of a lifetime. I'm watching him, and Nancy Sinatra played there too, which was
that's fucking
kick ass. But
Wow.
I was just like amazed that we got to open for them, and it was cool. You know, meeting him and stuff. It was, you know, I mean, we played with Dramarama twice, and they are awesome. And I really liked them from the '90s. You know, I always thought they were a great band, and it's like, you know. We actually, their guitarist is playing on one of our songs on the new album.
Oh, cool.
So
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So it's like, you know, I mean, we've come a long way. You know, it's like, I mean, if I always say now I'm at the point where it's all gravy now. You know, I don't need to be famous. I'm playing. You know, just getting up on stage, having the ability to get up on stage and play is always awesome for me.
But you're having fun.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm to the point where I don't think we're going to make $1 million and become famous. So once you get that out of your system,
That's the best feeling in the world.
yeah, it's just like, okay, so let's just have fun now. And that's what I do.
Right.
And if we get to open for a great band, like we're playing with not that they're the level of New York Dolls, but we're playing with the Accelerators 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And, you know, I'm like, yeah, you know, I know. I mean, it's like, to me, it's like, hey, we get to play with some punk. And, you know, I mean, not that we're exclusively a punk band, but we have some punk songs. And,
Yeah, that'll be.
and I love punk music, man. I mean, I like punk music. To me, I go back.
Yeah.
I always thought that we sounded a lot like X because of the dynamic. Where we have Antoine and his sister singing, so you have John Doe and Nick Zine.
Yeah.
So you have that dynamic. You know, now we're not as punk as they are, but it's still, you know, there's times where I listen to some of their stuff, especially like the Los Angeles album, and you're listening to that and you're like, oh, you know, it sounds a little like what we're doing.
You get that back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes it dynamic.
I like that.
Yeah.
I really do, you know.
As long as it's not the Captain and Tennille.
No, but you know.
It's like the Osmonds, because you're related.
Yeah, or the Carpenters, you know. We just have to get Alexandra on drums, but no, I mean, it's like, you know, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, even like, I, as a bass player, I like 70s funk. You know, James Jamerson and Carol Kay and you know, all the 60s and 70s bass playing really turns me on. You know, it's
Fucking
not.
wrecking crew, right?
Yeah. And it's like, you know.
Brick house.
And the thing is, it's like, you know, I always like to put a little of that in if I can. You know, because there's just little things you can do. If you listen to like Motown, and they can play a riff that's a simple 1-3-5 riff,
Yeah.
but they'll put little things in there. Little, like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a little bit of bass. Not even complicated, something you can learn in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But they'll put it in, and it changes the whole flavor of the song. You're like, Next thing you know, it's got the hook, and your head's bopping to it, and you can't get it out of your mind. You're like, oh,
when you think about it, what you're playing is kind of like what you feel. Like, that's like what should be there, Like, would you play that if you didn't have that background in music, maybe? Like,
Probably not, because, see, I wouldn't know it. It's like, I hear a lot of bass players that are just note to chord.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you're playing like dun 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 dun, just that little walking around and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but it gives that song like a whole nother dimension.
I always try to lock in with the drummer, like if I'm playing bass, like with their kick and their snare, like I should be doing kind of something like what they're doing.
Yeah, like
I always feel like the bass and drums are one thing.
I mean, I've played with a bunch of drummers.
Yeah.
None of them bad, but it's always hard to find a drummer as a bass player that you can really sync with.
Yeah.
Because if you can find that drummer that you can sync with like that, it's worth its weight in gold. Because,
Shout out.
I'll shout out to Eddie. Our drummer Eddie is incredible. I mean, and I'm saying that as a bass player, not as a member of the band. As a bass player, he allows me to breathe. He gives me a space, and he'll keep me honest.
He is a breath of life.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, he'll say, the two of us sometimes when we're playing live, we'll go off a little bit on our own and come right back in like clockwork. It's like, I know that sometimes they refer to that as the pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, he'll give me a space to play some accents. And then he'll do like and something, and then we come right back, and we're both like, and it's perfect. And like we'll do this, we both will look at each other and like smile, because it's like, it's that feeling as a rhythm section that it's so hard to get, but when you get it, it's like a fucking musical orgasm.
And he's a beautiful man, so when you just look at him anyway, you're just.
But it's like it's hard to find. And I've heard drummers say the same thing about bass players. It's hard to find a bass player that you can really sync with.
Yeah.
You got to take the music to another level in your mind. And you know where it's got to go. And it's like, even if I'm ever playing and I slightly feel a little lost, sometimes you just get into it, You get that zen moment, and you're like kind of like not even on the stage anymore. And he'll keep me honest because he's clockwork. So it's like, and I know if I want to do, I'm back to that. And it's like, it's an incredible experience as a musician to be at that level. And not be incredibly great.
Dude, it's a trust game. That's like like somebody going like this and saying, fall, I will catch you. Like, you know that he's going to fucking hit his marks.
And he's just amazing. I mean, I've played with great drummers, but Eddie is probably my favorite drummer that I played with. Not that I'm bad-mouthing anyone, including Mike, who died. They were all drummers in their own respect, and I like playing with them, but when you find that right musician to work with, and even as a guitar player, there must be other musicians that you played with that you're like, I love playing with that guy.
Yeah.
Or that girl.
Yeah, it was weird. The first 7 or 8 years of the band, it was me and Billy. Like, Billy Gatta wrote all the songs, and then we didn't do the band for a while, and then we came back, but he's like, he moved to Florida, and now he's got a kid and like a life and shit. So it's like he's not gonna come back from Florida. He used to drive back from Virginia to play shows, but it's Florida. That's 2 days, But like we just carried on, I guess, without him. Like the day he wants to come back, like nobody's gonna be like, no, I'm not letting that guy fucking play drums for us, But it's cool. Like everybody has like a good respect about it, but like it's like weird for me now. Like it's been longer almost without him. Like I've been doing it for almost 15 years, and it's like I had him for about 7 or 8, and now I'm nearing about 7 without him. So it's just like a weird feeling. But the guy I got now, Jordan, he's good. Like it's weird. It's not the same thing anymore that it used to be. It used to be like a group collaborative effort, and it's kind of becoming that again, which I love. But like for years, it was just like, oh hey, what songs do you have? Better write some fucking songs. Like, Jesus, like, does anybody else here have fucking instruments? Like,
Yeah.
You know, now the guys are writing songs and shit, and it's cool. Like, I'm excited and invigorated again. But for a while, I felt like the guy in The Simpsons that was just like pulling the giant fucking rock, and it's like, oh, now you get to pull the rock of shame, and it's like a bigger rock, like, oh, great. But I don't know. It's I love playing music, man. Like, I like doing the acoustic thing for a long time, and then the guys were like, dude, we gotta fucking plug in. And it's like, all right.
I didn't know if you wanted us to play on here, so I was like, Antoine, are we gonna bring our acoustic stuff? He's like, no, we're not playing to. I was like, oh, because I have a U-bass. Have you ever seen them?
No.
It looks like a ukulele, but it's a 4-string bass.
Oh, wow.
And it's got nylon, not nylon. It's like a rubber material.
Oh, you guys could have brought
The
that
strings,
shit
and
later.
when you plug it in, it sounds like a stand-up bass when you plug it in.
That's awesome.
But it's this big.
Oh, that's sick.
It's adorable. I was, and it's like, that's like going to be my new go-to now as far as acoustic, because I have an acoustic bass and an acoustic guitar, but
they're kind of unwieldy, the acoustic bass, I feel like. It's like a very... I like it for... We recorded a song with it, but I don't think I could play it live. Like, anytime I ever played acoustic, but I was playing bass, I always just played an electric
I
bass.
should have brought it just for you to see it, man.
Yeah, I'm
it's
curious.
so much fun to play.
U-bass, it's called? I gotta
It's
check that
U-bass,
out.
yeah. It looks like a ukulele, but it's a bass.
Nice.
And when you play it, it's got this really heavy booming sound. It's amazing.
You guys will have to come out again so you can play.
Sure.
Our next show, we should work in a U-bass
Yeah, let's
solo.
plug your show that you guys
yes,
have coming up. The whole reason...
We're a band.
Yeah, you guys are here.
And your album.
And your
Yes.
album and your music.
Well, March 20th, we'll be at Bogey's in Clifton.
Ooh, Bogies. It's a good place.
That's the
I
new
believe-
spot.
That is the new spot.
That's what we hear. It'll be my first time there. Did you ever?
No, I never
Go.
played that.
It's a nice
I've never
little
seen
local
Okay.
pub kind of place. It's like a towny kind of place. It's good.
Right, like our old
It's classic.
Clash friends are.
Everybody,
That's a-
yeah.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
like the crew there now.
Right.
They're not at the new Clash Bar place.
Yeah.
The Hideout.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna play there eventually. We're hoping.
Oh, they got a ton of openings apparently. They're like sucking
really?
balls to get people to go play there. So
Wow.
No shit.
yeah, now's the time. Strike while the iron's hot,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I just can't believe that the pole is still there in front of the stage.
The pole will stand there forever because the
Like even when the
fucking
building's
building,
gone. Yeah. Like
the building will collapse without the pole. It's for structural integrity of the building, Antoine.
I know, but I've never seen a pole like that in the middle of like.
Oh, I have down in Hoboken. They did that. Don't you was in Harp and Bart where we had a pole right in the middle of the damn stage?
The harp and
Yeah, there
bar.
was another place with a pole right in the middle.
I think it was,
Sinners and Saints, maybe.
there's a few
Oh,
places in New York too that we played that had poles right in the stage.
Yeah.
The one was right dead in the center of the stage. We're like, what the hell did you do that? It's like a strip.
They
of
did
pole.
different things after hours.
So what's the date of our show?
Yeah, the 20th. It's free. 21 and over, unfortunately. So.
Can't get those youngins in.
Yeah.
All those 17 and 18-year-olds that are dying to see Precious Bones.
Yes. I mean,
I know you guys guys have a huge
yeah.
you know, Teen Beat fucking
Yeah,
Tiger Beat.
J14. Yeah.
You guys are
Yeah.
like the Justin Biebers.
I was gonna say, Bieber tweeted about us the other day.
Did
so
he?
now, yeah, we've got like 30 million new followers. It's pretty insane. I don't know how you even got us
Heard it
here.
here
Yeah,
first.
as soon as they heard us, they were.
Yeah. So we were like,
We
all
don't
right.
have auto sync, auto tune.
Oh, that's fine.
We wouldn't
The
stand up
Bieber doesn't
this
want us to
now.
have the auto tune.
No,
He likes us
auto-tune.
raw as we are.
Biebs said no.
Yeah.
We're gonna all start dancing in sync with each other on stage.
Oh, I can't wait.
Could you imagine?
You guys have an asshole of the week. This is usually.
Oh wait, you guys already got a new album coming out too, right? You
That too.
got
We
it out?
don't have a title yet. It's untitled right now.
It's not
well-
recorded and everything, right?
It's mostly recorded,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
but
We're just mixing and mastering.
yeah, we're such perfectionists, as you know, it's been taking 8 years to actually mix something. So,
And
We
what's-
wanted to add a horn section. This is like a small thing. The one song that we have, we really wanted to put in a horn section, but we don't have a horn player or horn players. So we were going to do it on keyboards, and it just didn't sound right. It just didn't have the feeling that we wanted to incorporate. So we had to sacrifice and go organ, and I'm like hoping eventually we'll revisit the song and put in a horn section. 'Cause, like, there's a band that I saw a few weeks ago at the last week of the Clash Bar. and they had a horn section, and they were freaking rocking, dude.
Oh,
The Schwam.
the Schwam.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they're
man, I
good.
saw them playing with the horn section.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you can't beat that. If a band has a good horn section,
Yeah, you don't even need to amplify those fucking
No.
things either, man. Like horns, I swear to God,
Yeah.
they'll go over fucking half stacks. That's like a frequency all its own, man. It cuts right through.
Yeah.
it's like your sister plays the tambourine. The tambourine is louder than all the
loudest shit.
instruments combined.
Oh yeah.
It's like, where the hell is that coming from? It's like,
Whack!
it's the devil's tambourine that she has.
She ends shows with bruises. It's like
Yeah, yeah, but it's like,
goes down with it, I think.
but I mean, like a horn section to a band. I mean, that's like, to me, you know, like as a musician,
Yeah.
I love that. I appreciate that so much. Like to me, like if we could ever incorporate a horn section, even for one song in our band, it would be great. That and a steel drum, I would love. Oh, dude, man, I'm in love with the steel drum sound.
I like that sound.
There's just something magical about a steel drum, dude. If we could have one song with the steel drum,
Hot, hot, hot.
that's the bucket list. Yeah.
Reminds me of The Office, where Michael just has
Oh,
one.
God.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I had a steel drum when I was a little kid. It was fucking awesome.
Really?
And like, yeah, it was great too because it was like kind of how I learned all the different notes because it had all the
Oh, that's
notes
cool.
like written on it in a Sharpie. I don't know if my brother did that or it came that way, but it was just like cool if I can be like, oh, okay. Like I was like a little kid. My parents, I don't know, they went to like Puerto Rico, I guess, or something for their honeymoon, like when they got remarried. And like, I don't know, it's bing, boing, bing, boing,
Yeah.
boing, boing, boing. It was fucking cool, man. I miss it. And my mom probably still has it, actually.
That's awesome.
I gotta see if she does. I'll fucking steal it.
I'm always looking on Craigslist in the musicians.
They're not
section.
cheap.
No, just looking for a steel drum player.
Oh,
I
player?
would just love to do like one
cheap.
song, or just like bring him in. Like, dude, just come in for one song, you know, and play.
Do you know Anthony Carrera? Oh,
I played a show with him.
But does he
Anthony
play
Carrera's
steel
got like a
drum?
handpan. He's
Oh,
probably
handpan,
got
okay.
a fucking steel drum too, and he's got like a sitar. He's got all kinds of shit, and I'm sure that like I don't know what his schedule's like, but he's always like busking in the city and stuff. Like he's around here. He's definitely, you know, could figure out a way to come to these parts.
Could you imagine, like, if you had a metal song with steel drums?
That's why I love the metal I listen to now is like weird pirate metal and
I love that shit.
like just bizarre
Yeah.
fucking I don't know, I just think it's like I would rather hear like I don't even like the sound of like the squeeze box or whatever, but
Oh yeah.
in metal it's like fucking like holy shit. You know, like nobody would push it to that in the parade.
Yeah, I mean, like, I
That's
love
awesome.
like experimentation like that. Yeah,
Right.
it's like, you know, if I can ever see a band that really pushes the experimentation level, they got me. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
It's like that's like, you know, like I have seen hundreds and hundreds of live bands, and if I could say it, maybe 10 of them wowed me, that would be a lot. You know.
Wow.
A lot of them are just like they're playing and they play, and it's like they're going through the motions.
Yeah, that's
But
the
they're not,
worst.
they're not blowing your way. You're not, you know, you're not walking away saying, "Man, I got to see those guys again." Now, I've seen bands that have done that. I remember when I was in college, there was a band around called Invisible Culture. They had a horn section. They were doing funk with rap, and rock and metal, and I was just like, dude, like, whoa, like every song. You know, like it would be like they'd be doing this like da 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 da. Then it'd go into like boom ba doom and the rap part, and I'm like, holy shit, that's the same song. And then the horn section would kick in, and I'd be just like, oh my god, what am I experiencing? It's not like a regular band, you know. They're taking you.
And it's so I feel like a lot of stuff too is something that I have to see sometimes to appreciate it. Like, all right, like I don't want to shit on V is for Villains. Those guys were awesome, but it's one of those things where if I heard them on the radio, I probably wouldn't give a fuck. But their live show was cool. It's like flashing lights. The
Right.
guy, I like that the guy too was like, oh yeah, I'm a guy with a laptop. You know, like I poked fun at that sitting behind my table a little bit. Like, I don't know, guy. It's a guy with a laptop, but we'll see what happens, you know. But he's like, he addressed that and like made a joke out. I'm like, I'm all in with this. Like, you know, like if I was up there with a laptop, I would absolutely fucking address that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't not address that. If you don't address it, you're an asshole.
Right.
And by addressing it, I'm like, all right, he's in the room with all of us, like, and their show was fun as fuck. Like, they didn't. Would it have been cool with a real drummer? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But like, did they need one? No, not really. I didn't feel like it was missing, you know. It was. I love that shit, and that's like, I'm a fan of that now. Like, I bought their shit. I'm like, fuck it. I'm all in with this. Like, that's cool as fuck. But if I didn't see that, it would just be another thing that I passed by on Facebook. It was like, whatever. I don't know, fucking people in masks. Who gives a fuck? What are they, Slipknot? Like, I don't, you know.
First time I heard 12 Foot Ninja, they kind of blew me away. I don't know if you know that band, but it's like, it'll be like metal, and all of a sudden there's kind of like a Spanish music part.
Oh, wow.
And then it goes somewhere else, and there's some electronica. So yeah, check out 12 Foot Ninja. They're an Australian band. It's really interesting stuff.
Wow.
Nice.
See, I like bands that experiment.
Yeah.
Give you a little more. Like a friend of mine's band, Reina Zayas. Have you heard of them? They're like a metal band, but they incorporate like industrial and sound effects and music and movie clips, and they all dress in monkey masks.
Oh, nice.
It's all like the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
And they'll have clips from the movies in the songs. But it was like, holy shit, you know, like really took it another level.
Huh.
You know, the music was good, but the stage performance made it, you couldn't turn away.
It's the connection.
Yeah.
Really, like, with me, I always try to make people laugh. Like, that's always my key thing. It's like, I don't want to be up here with everybody thinking that I'm so serious about anything, because I'm the least serious person in this entire fucking zip code about anything. And like, I don't know, I think like whatever connection is your connection to make, like that's what it's got to be. Like I love bands with like a weird fucking thing where it's like they all wear a mask and like nobody knows. Well, people know who they are, but like nobody knows who they are. You know, it's like I love that shit. Like they don't break. There's like a kayfabe like in wrestling that like sometimes you don't want to break. I break it all the time. That's my thing. But I think that's like part of like Ghost. Like people fucking love Ghost. And it's like, to me, I'm like, the songs are okay. Like whatever.
They're kind of
like, I don't give a fuck. But like I respect it. They're good musicians and shit. Like they're doing good shit. It's just not for me per se. But I've seen fucking 10 articles of, oh, they got a new Papa Emeritus. I know who fucking Papa Emeritus 10 is now. Like, they just pop out a new guy. It's the same guy as before with different makeup. And they have a ceremony, and it's fucking cool. Like, whatever. Like, people are all in. I respect that. That's fucking genius marketing. And fucking, I respect the shit out of that. That's the connection they've made by being anonymous and fucking birthing a new singer every 6 months.
Showmanship.
Daft Punk. They wear them.
I love Daft Punk.
And they have like guest stars that you don't even know. Like they had Nile Rodgers playing with them.
Oh yeah, you knew he was on the video. Like,
yeah, well, but what I'm saying is like they had a show where he played with a mask on, and I'm like,
oh really?
I'm like, shit, you know.
They put Nile Rodgers under the fucking mask. He probably wanted to do it.
I mean, it's like
wear my mask, motherfucker.
Now that's a band that gives you like a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, as far as quality, you know, I mean, Nile Rodgers. To me, it's like, you know.
Nile Rodgers wouldn't fucking waste his time if it wasn't fucking quality. You know, like, he wouldn't bother. He doesn't need to bother.
No.
Dude, he played on all fucking disco records. If you don't want to fucking ever pick up a guitar again for the rest of his life, I'm sure he doesn't have to.
Yeah, he's.
When you're Nile Rodgers, you do what the fuck you want.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he like. I mean, there's so much that he's done, Nile Rodgers. And I talk to like non-musicians, and they have no idea who he is. And I'm like, the guy is a producer and a guitar player and a bass player. God knows he probably knows a lot of other instruments.
He's a hit machine.
And he's incredible. The guy has his finger on the pulse, you know, and he really can make a song funky. His shit with Duran Duran, he took them to a whole nother level.
Oh, I never knew he played with
They
Durango.
on the Notorious album.
Oh, okay, I'll check that out.
And that was all that like funk that like ripped on that he was him.
Oh, nice.
And it was like, shh. You know, I mean, the whole album was like kind of funky. You know, it's very 70s sounding.
Right. And back to Bowie for a second, but you know, 69 to what 79, Bowie was the alien, the weird experimenter, and he said, "I want to hit. I'm gonna call Nile Rodgers. Let's dance." You know, it's like that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was like, "I just want to make a hit album. Like that's my experiment for this. Like, who do we call? Who's good at this?" I was like, "Yeah, I got you."
And that's like David Bowie's, like, there's no other songs even that are around that time. Like, yeah, Let's Dance is like a huge song, but that's like pop through like David Bowie's fucking weird lens.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and there's nothing, it's like weird. Like, most pop songs I feel like are like sung a lot of the time with like conviction. Like, David Bowie through that song almost sounds like he's talking a lot of the time. Like it's like, I don't even give a fuck about pop music.
Right.
I could just do it. Like, I always thought that was awesome.
And it's mostly instrumental too, if you think of it.
Yeah, he really
it's
only
like-
sings like 40 seconds.
It might
of
be
that
like 2
whole-
minutes of Stevie Ray Vaughan like noodling and stuff. You're like, all right.
Yeah, he was a fucking genius, man. I was saying the other day, there's no like unlistenable Bowie records. There's like some that I'm like, I don't. The older shit, especially like that song Uncle Albert or whatever.
Right.
The fuck. It's like, all right, like it's his first one. Like,
Yeah,
in the
let's do
past.
that.
It's still not. It's not bad. Like, it's not like the songs are poorly written or they don't tell a story. They just tell a story that I don't give a fuck about in too pleasant of a way, really. Like,
Yeah, it's like when
they're like sweet folk songs. It's like, that's nice, but what he became was
but the Beatles did that shit all the time.
Totally.
Like, I don't
But
care
Bowie-
what Paul's doing when he's 65. You know.
Always surround himself with amazing musicians.
yeah.
Always, like, even to the end. I mean, he gave birth to Claus Nomi. You know who
Yeah.
Claus Nomi is? Yeah, I mean, like,
That must have been painful.
no, but I mean, like that show. Did you ever see that show on Saturday Night Live
Yeah.
where he plays Nomi's his backup singer?
Yeah. I love that. He's just fucking doing all weird hand.
Nomi stole the costume and he made it his own on stage because he wore that Mickey Mouse outfit, that
Yeah.
crazy Mickey Mouse outfit. But I mean, like, even his bass player at the end, Gail Ann Dorsey,
Yeah.
amazing bass player. Like, I've listened to her bass lines. I learned her Heroes bass line. And I've seen so many bands mangle it. Really mangle what she's playing on bass. And I sat down and really learned that. It took me like a week to really learn what she's playing.
Yeah.
And it's a freaking moving heartbeat of a bass line. You know, there's some little galloping in there, and there's like little things that she puts in that make that song 10 times better. But I mean, I've seen dozens of cover bands do it and mangle it. They just play note to chord and stuff. It's like, dude, you're losing everything that makes that song cool, you know?
Wow.
But she's like another one. I mean, a lot of people know who Gail Ann Dorsey is,
Yeah.
but she's an amazing bass player. I mean, just although my favorite is what's her name for the Wrecking Crew?
Carol Kay.
Carol Kay. Yeah. Oh. Carol Kay, actually, I bought her songbook from her. She actually sells it. She has her own website.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she wrote me this
Was
whole
that like
thing.
Peter Gunn in there and all that
Oh,
shit?
it's got like all these, but she's like more of jazz bass. Like, she teaches a lot of jazz bass. And she wrote this whole big thing about, you know, make sure you practice and all this stuff. It's really cool.
That's
like
awesome.
a grandmother to her grandson. That's kind of like. And she wrote down too that she still, at 83 years old, she does lessons over Skype
That's awesome.
if you want, but you have to have completed the lessons in her jazz book so you can do the jazz bass.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus, by the time I get through this jazz bass, she'll be long dead. Because it's like this thick, the book.
Oh, wow.
It's not easy.
No, I can
It's
imagine.
real hard stuff.
Well, that lady is like, it's funny, like the Doors get so much credit. I know Ray Manzarek was doing his thing, but that lady played on like all the fucking Doors songs,
really?
like a lot
She
of
played on all the Beach Boys albums.
so much shit
Sonny
that like
Cher.
you just don't even think about it. It's like, wow, that's a great bass player, and it's a lot of it is her.
Wow.
Like so much iconic shit. She's on fucking like soundtracks of like Peter Gunn and fucking Mission Impossible and all shit for like Lalo Schifrin, all that shit. Like
Batman theme song.
Which one?
The 60s Batman theme song.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like fucking so much. She was like that was the phone call. Like she would go in the studio and do like 10 songs that day. Like that
Yeah, I think they
blows my
said
mind.
total she had over 10,000 songs that she had written.
Holy
And
shit.
worked on.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
over 1,000 hits, like #1 hits.
Yeah.
I believe
Imagine
it.
that.
She was on entire albums, you know, like it's fucking mind blowing.
Yeah, she's incredible. And it took a lot for her. Like, you know, she still, people will diss her and she still has to, like, fight for her name.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Did you see on that new TV show on HBO, what is it?
I read the article.
They had someone playing, it wasn't her, but it was her, you know.
It was based on her, and she was kind of like a
even looked like
scandalous.
just like her, and did this whole like scandal thing, and she was pissed off. She's like, that never happened. Why are you like trying to make shit up like that, you know? She was really upset. I mean, here's an 83-year-old woman. She thinks she can live peacefully. People are still fucking with her.
Hey man, that's why I just say some people just shouldn't even bother reading the internet. It's like, it's not even worth fucking knowing. It's not worth getting aggravated over. I wouldn't watch that and think like, the lady that played bass on all those great songs is a real whore.
Did you see the video where she schools Gene Simmons?
Yeah, I think I did see that.
It was priceless.
Fucking, yeah.
Gene Simmons was like, yeah, I mean, this song, she's like, you're playing it all wrong. He's like, what? Here, this is how you play it. He's like, oh, wow. Yeah,
My favorite video with him is where him and Paul Stanley are like, it's an MTV video where they shot a lot of footage of them, and at one point Gene goes, turn off the camera, and because the whole time like Paul Stanley keeps like cutting down Gene Simmons' answers about like, oh, well, we love beautiful women, and he looks at Paul Stanley, he's like, why do you have to cut me down like that on camera? I don't like it when you do that. And Paul's like, okay, we're good. Okay, just roll it again. We're good. He's just like fucking like a wife. Like, we're fine. Yeah. He's just fussy. Like, it's fucking gold, man.
That's awesome.
They definitely hate each other by this point.
yeah.
But you guys have an asshole of the week, or?
Was there a point you wanted to make?
Just real quick, I think one of my most influential recordings that I still have in my collection was one of my first bandmates made a mixtape of just 120 minutes of Paul Stanley song intros.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, so I mean, if anything
wow.
wants to get you hyped up or in a good mood, it's, you know, come on to the firehouse, it's hot in here. You know, just...
Last night I was sitting in my hotel room.
Yeah. Do you know what I was drinking?
You know what time it is? Fucking screams that like 20 times a night.
But no music, just cuts right after he speeches.
I want that.
But yeah.
I want that as an alarm in the morning. Just
all 2 hours.
that'll get you out of bed.
That's how I stay perky.
So, who do we have to pick as the asshole? We
Anybody you want.
Anybody you
What's the
want.
criteria?
Is this anybody you think is an asshole either this week or just, you know?
You get the sound off.
I'll go for Charlie Sheen then. Yeah.
Nice. Why?
Why?
Why not?
Yeah, really.
Because what he did with the Crisco to that poor Corey, you know?
Crisco. A little more on
Just throwing shade.
graphic, but
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say Jim Baker. You heard what he did, right?
No, I mean, what did he do
The government had to get him to stop. He was selling fake coronavirus cures.
Oh my god.
His church was selling fake cures
wow.
for like $1,000 a pop or something.
Oof.
And the government had to tell him to cease and desist, or they were going to go after him. Can you imagine that, using your mega $1 million church to bilk people out of money
during
on a lie?
crisis. Yeah, that's insane.
Well,
pretty
that's what they
fucked
do
up.
every time, no matter if they're selling something or not.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, you know, that takes asshole to a new level.
I agree.
Yeah. Who's your asshole?
My asshole of the week is the guy who sprayed the spray in his toddler's face. Calm the fuck down and learn about soap and water. Can we do that? Can we do that in this country?
Nobody ever washed their hands before.
Are you supposed to sing both, just happy birthday, or is there like a refrain that what do you have to do? Is it just one verse? Is it two?
Always,
how many verses?
I always do summer loving, happens so fast. Summer loving. That's what I just sing.
Do you do that at work?
Sweet transvestite. Oh no, at work I sing, I'm too sexy for my shirt, too sexy for my shirt, so sexy.
You look over your shoulder at the guy at the urinal and sing it.
Yeah, I look right at him and nod while I'm singing.
You make eye contact.
My favorite thing to look at a guy at a urinal say is, hey, you're a pretty big dude. I think that's the most awkward thing you can say to someone.
I just like go, just a little air. Like, really?
My asshole of the week is the lady at the 7-Eleven who made the 7-Eleven special coronavirus fucking spray.
She burned all those kids, right?
Yeah, you can't put industrial chemicals on children's skin.
Oh my god.
Because they will get second-degree burns, which she quickly learned, and she was arrested and brought to justice, or will be brought to justice.
But was she working at 7-Eleven, or?
She was the owner of the 7-Eleven.
Okay.
I don't know if it was her directive, like, yeah, we need to mix this now. Like,
Because I thought it was some customer that was like, look guys, I got some good stuff on commission here. And they're like, we should add this product to our shelves.
She's like, this is my moment. I've got all these industrial cleaners here.
we never cleaned this place once. Yeah, so that's my asshole of the week. That caused children to be burned
We have a collection of assholes.
every week. Yeah, we don't do a hero of the week anymore.
No.
We're not about being uplifting.
This is the cult of contempt, not the cult of content.
It's the cult of content. Thank you guys for coming on, man.
Thank you for
Whenever
having
you
us.
guys want to come back, you let me know.
You're always welcome.
You're always welcome.
Bring the U-Bass.
Yeah, bring
Yes.
the
Bring the
U-Bass.
U-Bass next
Please.
Play
time.
some acoustic songs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Precious Bones, check them out.
PB, where can we find you online?
At preciousbones.com.
Preciousbones.com.
They got a Facebook page, and
you
go
can-
see their show on the 20th. These guys are amazing. We saw them at the Evil Expo. I saw you guys a couple other times
Clash
too.
Bar, too.
Clash Bar.
Yeah.
I think you played the Dingbats as well.
yeah.
I don't know if that was before or after they became a neo-Nazi hangout, but supposedly.
Now
or
Pedophile is playing there.
Oh, great.
Next week on Cult of We're out. Love you guys.
Take care.
Be well.
Peace.